I didn't attend my friend's wedding on the day of my family's death anniversary. April 15th is the worst day of the year for me. 5 years ago, my mom, dad, and little sister got hit by a drunk driver on their way back from my sister's soccer game. They all died instantly. Every year since then, I spend that day visiting their graves, sitting with them, and trying to pretend like the world isn't crashing down around me all over again. So when my friend Katie told me she was getting married on April 15th, I felt my stomach drop. I've known Katie since we were 12. She's been there for everything. She helped me through the funeral, drove me to therapy appointments when I couldn't handle being alone, and even slept on my couch for weeks after it happened because she was worried about me. I thought she would understand. I called her 3 weeks before the wedding and explained why I couldn't be there. I told her about the anniversary, about how I always spend that day with my family, about how I wouldn't be able to focus on celebrating when all I could think about was them. Katie went completely silent for like 30 seconds. Then she said, "Are you seriously choosing dead people over me on the most important day of my life?" I was so shocked I couldn't even respond. She kept going, saying I was being selfish and dramatic, that it had been 5 years and I needed to move on, that real friends show up no matter what. She hung up on me. Her maid of honor, Jessica, texted me later saying Katie was devastated and that I was ruining her wedding by being a downer. She said I could visit graves any day, but Katie only gets married once. She even suggested I could go to the cemetery after the reception. I didn't respond to any of their messages after that. On April 15th, I went to the cemetery like I always do. I brought fresh flowers and sat there for hours, talking to them about everything that had happened that year. I told my sister about how I finally learned to make mom's spaghetti recipe. I told my dad about the promotion I got at work. I told my mom about Katie and how hurt I was. While I was sitting there, my phone kept buzzing with Instagram stories from the wedding. Katie looked beautiful in her white dress, smiling and laughing with all our mutual friends. In one video, I could see the empty chair where I was supposed to sit in the front row with a little sign that said, "Reserved for fake friends." I turned my phone off and stayed until sunset. 3 days later, Katie called me crying. Apparently, her new husband got absolutely wasted at the reception and spent the entire night hitting on her younger cousin. Multiple people saw him trying to get the cousin's number and offering to pay for her hotel room. Katie found out when her aunt sent her a video someone took of him grabbing the cousin's waist and whispering in her ear during the father-daughter dance. Katie was sobbing, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life marrying him, that all the red flags were there but she ignored them because she wanted her perfect wedding day. She said she wished she had listened to me when I told her months ago that something felt off about how he treated waitresses and how he talked about other women. Then she said something that made my blood boil. She said, "I should have postponed the wedding. You were right not to come. I needed my best friend there to stop me from making this mistake, but instead, I pushed you away." I told her I didn't skip her wedding to prove a point about her husband. I skipped it because my entire family died on that day, and I spend it grieving them every single year. She got quiet and apologized, but the damage was done. Katie filed for divorce 2 months later when she found out her husband had been cheating with multiple women throughout their entire engagement. She lost half her savings in the divorce settlement and had to move back in with her parents.